All right. Anyway, sorry. So, Spring Creek. Let me get to the high points of this story because I only have 5 minutes left. So I had wanted to play this course again for a while. I haven't played it. I played it one time 2 or 3 years ago, and I had fond memories of the course. I wanted to play again, but the one problem I've had is for all the courses down in the Richmond area that I played one time, I'm sort of from, it's been a while. It's probably at least 5 years since I played down there on some of these courses, and I kind of have a memory of the course, but I'm mixing holes up. Like one hole, I and I just basically didn't really remember this course as well as I thought I did, but I was very impressed by it the first time I played it, so I wanted to go back and play it again. And I thought it was a good challenge of golf. I was looking for a good challenge of golf, and I've just really wanted to go play this course for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And so, playing Spring Creek versus playing some flat prairie-like course in central southern Pennsylvania, um, it kind of was an easy win for Spring Creek, to be honest. Okay, it's really hard to choose to go play a course you've never played before in a part of the country you're really not comfortable playing anyway. I had one incident where I played a course in Pennsylvania, and the guy um, at the shack who's selling the tea times gave me this song and dance story about there being a tournament on the course that day, and I couldn't. Sorry, we can't. There's a tournament out today. We can't have. It's not really open today. When he saw me walk up to play, and rather than douchebag around with that kind of nonsense, I said, fine. I don't have a problem going to play Spring Creek. I wouldn't mind going down there. I had just gone down that way before to play this course out in Newport News. Had a rather unpleasant experience there due to the 18th fairway getting occluded by people who were anti-golfers, apparently. And so I'd forgotten about that. It'd been long enough ago that I'd forgotten about that, decided to come back and play this other course. And so sure enough, while I had a good time playing the course, I was out there by myself. The weather wasn't killing me. It was sunny, or occasional clouds and stuff, pretty much like today, but not hot. Luckily, we've had this thing going where the winds have been cool, even though the sun has been like, you know, just tan central, on the course. Everybody's hiding in the shade, stuff like that. So, court girls, really nice, cheerful, really pleasant. I walked into the clubhouse to start to pay my ticket, and aside from the $150 price for a Friday at 12:30, barely raised an eyebrow, but still, that's the most I paid in a while for a round of golf. But 90, 100, 110, not unusual, this time of year, and most in a lot of courses. Anyway, but 150 clear above the cost of everything else that I played this year so far. And the guys were like a little bit obtuse. Like they're like telling me, half the course is car path only, the other half of the course is not. And they kind of like got ahead of themselves a little bit, I think, just kind of forgetting that people who don't play that course often and don't have a pen with them aren't writing down what they're saying. When they're saying that like every other course or every third hole on the course is car path only. So I said, fine, would you, draw it up or something, put it on a cart sheet, and they nicely, marked up a cart sheet for me to say which holes were car path only, which ones were not. And that was nice. A touch, which I'm sure they may have thought was unnecessary, but at least it was nice to have a clearly marked scorecard that said which holes were car path only, which ones are not. Because as I suspected, when you get out there were going to be markings. The markings on the GPS system were not going to pop up consistently. It was just nice to have a sheet of paper that said, these holes are car path only. So it was all nice. This guy who handled the cashier was out on the course and making sure people had money. Water, and just generally cheerful kind of guy. And it was really kind of interesting because this course is it's in a gated community down on 15. You go in, you say, okay, I'm here to play golf. The guy lets you in the course, onto the private property. You drive back. The clubhouse is pretty easy to find. You go there. Very nice people. At the starter's desk. I mean, I had absolutely no inclination that what was about to happen was going to happen. I'll be flat and honest with you. Okay. I go all the way around the course, and one of the things that I'm going to mention is just for to set the stage. So I get to the second hole, and I play the second hole, and behind the second hole there is a stone path right behind the green that leads up to the fifth hole. Now, like I said, I've only played this course once. Wasn't really clear where I was going. There's not any markers behind the green. So I said, well, let me go up here, and if it's the wrong hole, I'll just turn around and come back. So I went up to the fifth tee box. It was the wrong tee box. I didn't know it was the fifth tee box until I got there. Saw it was fifth tee box, turned around, came back. Now, while I was coming to the second green, I noticed that there was a group on this fourth green, okay, which is just across the cart path from the second green. And on that green, there was a foursome, and there was a guy there with an electric motorcycle, and he had this little off-white electric motorcycle, kind of lean forward kind of thing, like a reverse cruiser. You lean forward into it and everything, and I thought that was interesting. Didn't have any clubs in the background. I was like, okay, fine. So now there's people out here riding electric. It was like one of those Groms, except with a really rear set pegs, really rear set. And so we passed, when I came back from the fifth tee box down to the back of the second green. They passed me on the cart path going up the hill. Didn't see them again the rest of the way around the course, except for at the clubhouse on the turn, where I saw them teeing off on the 10th hole. I came down from the 9th hole down to the clubhouse, and they went out and everything. So I go out again, playing the backside, and frankly, I was modestly impressed with the first side, which is why I have the Jesus. So anyway, I was modestly impressed with the front side. So I go out and I play the front side, and it's good enough that I'm taking pictures. And I really had no intention of taking pictures of this course because I've already recorded it once. Went out and took pictures again at this course. I just happened to have my phone on me. Just happened to take some pictures, and some nice scenes and so forth. And the front side was actually a pretty decent challenge, but the front side of this course is still rather normal. It's not one of those really outrageously different or strange sides. It has a bunch of nice holes on it. And the first time I played this course, I had a lot of trouble on the front side. The second time I didn't. And I'm like, just having a great time. My game had improved enough. I'm having a great time just out there playing by myself. Nobody really around. Having a great time playing. And so I come off the front side, get something to eat, watch part of the British Open. I'm just taking my time, casually cruising around, trying not to get too hot, having a great time, right? Go out, play the 10th hole, 11th, 12th, and by the time I get off the 12th hole is a pretty interesting hole. But one of the things I've noticed all along is that all the par fives are relatively short, like 495, 497, and this is from the back tees, not quite the ones way back in the woods that would make it like 530, 540, like on the 12th, right? And I noticed that the first time I played. I remember that the very first time I played, I said, wow, this is, it looks long from here, but it's only 500 yards from here. And I'm playing, this is a while ago, I'm playing like shit. And I'm having a hard time, staying in play. But I'm still playing the black tees. This is apparently one of the first times early in my season of black tee playing. The back tee on this hole is way back on this lip, on this ledge, and cut into the woods. And I'm like, well, if it was back there, it'd be like a 535. It'd be about 550 really from back there. That's still 550. 550 for a par 5 is not, much of a par 5. So sure enough, I'm playing this, I guess it's number 12. I hit my first shot, down there. I'm about 155 yards out from the green, and play that on the green and birdie the hole, and just stuff like that. The problem with the whole backside is it's not bad. It's an interesting, relatively interesting course from the back tees, but it's still short. So I'm just casually playing the backside, going, this is unremarkable, but noticing I'm still playing it much better than I played the first time. So I play the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, all holes which gave me a lot of trouble the first time I played them, but this time it's pretty straightforward. And this is where I get to the 18th hole, which is this hole coming down to the clubhouse. Is a lake that runs along the side, and a nice straight fairway that curves around to the left. It goes to the green. Green's right on the edge of the lake, right across the lake, little lake from the clubhouse, and that's the one I have in my first shot. I guess I'll put it up again. So the damnedest thing happened. Now I'm playing from the back tees, right? I hit a really nice tee shot, playing my TSI2, which I've just absolutely have found peace with, having a great time playing it. And I'm just hole after hole after hole, I'm hitting the center of the fairway. And this time I hit a really good drive, nice apex, nice distance. And I'm lying about 270. I looked it on the GPS. I'm 270 from the green at where my ball is. Ball's in the upper tier, just to the left side of the upper tier, but I got plenty of distance to play a 3-wood from there. So I'm scoping out a 3-wood from that shot. And up the cart path comes the dude on the bike on the motorcycle. And he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him. I'm just looking at him. And he just keeps riding up. Stops right to my side on the fairway. I'm sorry, in the cart path. Gets off the cart and starts hopping around in the grass. And I looked at him. I said, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I don't have to try to remember every damn thing I said, every exact word of everything I said. I'm going to hit the high points. Let's put it that way. I'm going to try to hit the high points. And he just doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything driving there, coming up there, or stopping there. Says nothing. So basically, I'm standing there in the fairway holding my club, and there's a guy he came out of the clubhouse, came back to the center of the 18th fairway, and without saying a word, no apologies, no excuse me, no nothing, he's now hopping around on his hands and feet just off the cart path, but on the rough of the side of the hole where I'm trying to play. And I am waiting for the people to get off the green and trying to decide what shot I'm going to hit. There's still the group ahead of me. I've caught them, and they're sitting on the green playing. So the next thing that happens is a cart comes up, and a guy with kind of short guy with silver hair and a silver beard. I remember him very clearly. He gets out. He parks there next to the other guy, and he starts hopping around in the grass also. Then another cart comes up, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you guys doing? And he says, he says we're looking for a wallet. That's what he says. Okay, but the problem is, they're saying they're looking for a wallet, but they're not showing any respect to me while I'm trying to play the hole at all. None. They're literally a small pebble's throw away from me, for one thing. Standing next to me, jumping up and down, bouncing around and all this stuff, while I'm trying to play my approach shot into the screen. There's a lake on the left, woods on the right, and I'm trying to keep this 3-wood in play. And all out of nowhere, out of the country blue, suddenly I have this going on while I'm trying to play the hole. So I looked at them. I was like, would you guys get the fuck out of here? I'm trying to play this hole, you know? And they're like, fuck you, literally. And then the next thing is like, oh, dudes, fuck you. Get the fuck off the hole. I'm trying to play the fucking hole. So we go shouting at it back and forth. And the next thing, the guy in the motorcycle says, you say shut the fuck up to me one more time, I'm going to kick your ass. And I dropped my club. I was walking right up. I was like, dude, come and kick my ass. Kick my ass. They peel out. The dudes on the cart peel out. The guy in the motorcycle peels out and goes back to the clubhouse, right? So they all turn around, and I finish playing the hole. I'm like, I'm going to maintain my cool. I'm going to just chill out. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this round, and then I'm going to deal with what happened after that, right? So sure enough, they're in the clubhouse on a table, the four of them sitting at a table. This one short dude with silver hair, white hair really, and a white beard. This other dude off the motorcycle, and I asked him, I said, are you the guy who was in the cart who told me to shut up and play the hole on the 18th green, fairway? And he goes, yeah. And then I looked to the left, I said, are you the guy who was in the motorcycle who told me that if I told him to shut the fuck up one more time, he was going to kick my ass? He looked at me and said, yeah. And this guy was like a 35-year-old guy, you know, reasonably athletic, you know, clean cut, you know, eyes-out shirt, but still redneck. You know, they were all basically redneck, basically not as redneck as a lot of rednecks, you know, can be redneck. These guys are, you know, more or less professional rednecks. Okay. So anyway, I said fine. I walked upstairs, talked to the guy. I'd seen him 500 times already. Talked to him about, you know, do you mind coming with me and let's you and I have a conversation with a few of the guys down in the bar. Didn't say anything to him about what it was. Didn't say anything to him about what happened. I just said, would you mind coming with me and let's go down to the bar. He got down to the bar and suddenly I saw a light bulb go off in his eye. He was like, whoa, hold it. You know, this isn't going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. Okay. They came and complained to me, or I've heard the story from them, and you know, what's going to happen is it's going to be a he said, she said situation, and it's just not going to happen the way you think it's going to happen. So I barely said a word to the fucking guy, okay? And he's already read into the situation and understands and everything. And I said, look, I don't know what they told you. I don't know what they said, but one of those guys in there threatened me out there in the 18th fairway. And I want to find out what the fuck this guy's name is so I can file charges on him. And they're like, and he's like, nope, not going to happen, you know, whatever. And then I'm getting into an argument with him, and he says, look, why don't you call the police? I said, fine, I'll call the police. He says, wait a minute, I have a cop. We've got a cop in the clubhouse right now. These guys, you know, apparently he's an off-duty police officer. So Slim comes out, you know, he's this dark-haired guy, white guy, wearing a pink shirt, pinkish kind of shirt, or some kind of bright garish green or pink or something. I can't remember what it was. I think it was green, lime green. And he's like, so you're saying the guy threatened you? And I said, yeah, you know, I want to, you know, call the cops and have them come down here and arrest him for threatening me on the course. And he goes, well, you want to file a warrant for that? And I said, yeah, you know, can I get the guy's name? So we have yet to actually go in the bar and talk to these guys, yet to even get in there. Okay, we're still standing outside the bar, on the outside. And he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. The guy who works the shop says, no, you know, that's not going to happen. So at that point, they're harboring the guys, and it said those guys were all members. I know them well. They know me well. We know what's happened. And so what happened was, apparently what I was told is you told them to get the fuck off the hole. And I said, yeah, that's what I told them. I mean, I may not have admitted to it right up front, but in the long run, I conceded that. I said, you know, yeah, okay, I say I did. Then what? And he goes, well, we don't play that. We don't do that here. Okay. And the next thing, the cop is asking him if he wants to ban me from the course. The guy's saying yes, and then he's telling me I'm trespassing on the course. Then he's pulling out his camera, and then he's filming me for the next 5 minutes, saying over and over, course, you're trespassing on the course. Please leave. We want you to leave the course. Please leave. You're trespassing the course. He's standing like, maybe 3 or 4 feet away from me with the fucking flashlight on his camera pointing it right in my face. And I'm like, dude, now you're just flat out harassing me. You've got to give me a chance to leave if you're going to kick me off the course. You can't stand in my face and harass me the entire time I'm trying to leave. My shit's right there in the cart, and I'm trying to get my shit out of the cart, walk up to my car, and leave. So the entire time he's following along behind me, and he's arguing this over and over again. If you hadn't done this, if you'd handled it right, everything would have been fine. If all this kind of stuff, you hadn't said, get the fuck off the fairway, then everything would have been fine. And I said, look, no one's arguing what happened. What we're talking about is the fact that you're saying that they're justified in threatening me because I said to get the fuck off the fairway while I'm trying to play the hole. That's what the whole issue is that you're covering for them the entire fucking time, instead of just admitting that what they did was wrong. It doesn't matter whether it was wrong by your rules. What matters is it's wrong by the law in the state of Virginia. That's what matters here. And that's what you're trying to cover up. So I said, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have a problem never coming back here and playing this course again. And I'm sort of highlighting from here, because it's expensive as shit and it's short. I really don't care to come back and pay $150 to play this rinky fucking ding course. I don't have a problem with that. But when I leave this course, I'm going to call the fucking state or county police. And sure enough, I drove out there and got off the property, got off out of the little development, whatever. And man, I was like, you know what? I really don't feel like dealing with this. I'm hot. I'm tired. I want to go home. But at the same time, the last thing I want to do is come down here and deal with this shit and have to fucking just take it, Fuck that. And so sure enough, I called the police. The police took my story, over the phone. They sent out a deputy, and the deputy came off the off-ramp. I saw the car come off the off-ramp, and he said they just got another call. There's a fight actually right down the street. He's going to go deal with that. And I saw the deputy go by. And so I waited about half an hour, and then I called him again, and they said, what we'll do is we'll have the deputy call you. I'll put them on the phone to call you. And the deputy took up the call, and she took, all the information relative to the call. And she told me, she says, you're right. I said, what you said, if this is, what actually happened, and they're not complaining about like a disagreement. They agree about what happened. Okay. What you said to him was not grounds for him to threaten you on the course. And you're absolutely right. And I said, I know that, that's why I said that. I know I've been in this situation before. I know exactly what the law is as far as threatening people in Virginia. And she's like, okay, so, basically there's two things. First of all, do you want to have a warrant filed out for him? And I said, look, I think essentially that's the point here. That needs to be done, because apparently they think they can do this shit and get away with it. And it's no big deal. Just because they're all members of this course, they can do that. And the management covers for them. And so I said, yeah, I want to have a warrant filed out against him. And I said, I don't know who is. They wouldn't give me his name. There supposedly was a cop there off duty who was there who said the same thing you're saying, but wouldn't give me the guy's name, wouldn't deal with it. And it just, instead their whole thing was to run me off the course, to bum rush me off the course, and try to deal with it that way. And I said, so you'll have to go down there. Somebody will have to go down there and figure out who this guy was. And I didn't expect that to ever happen. Okay, because this is where these things get lost in the cracks, is where the police get involved. And this is, I've said this to friends of mine many times, this is where the law fails in the United States. They don't do a damn thing about things unless they can figure out who they can pin it on first. And all it needs is enough obstruction. And no, we don't know anything about who it was, but we've got video of the guy who told them to go fuck off the hole. We've got 50 50 seconds or 50 minutes worth of video because I followed him all up to the parking lot, after I told him he was trespassing, he had to leave. Okay, so the weird thing about it was that he told me, the guy who was running the register told me this, but the cop disappeared. The one cop who was supposedly an off-duty cop who was there, he disappeared right back in the bar, just ran back in. Okay, he wasn't standing out there. More than, I think that at some point, like one or two of them or both of them had their phones out and were videoing me. But the one guy who followed me to the car was the manager. He was like, well, I'm protecting property. I said, man, you don't protecting anything. You're just harassing me. I'm leaving the course. You don't have anything to worry about. I'm leaving the course. I'm in the parking lot, leaving the course. And so while he's standing 5 feet away from me with his phone up in my face, okay, he keeps talking about how all this was my fault. I started all this kind of stuff. The guys didn't do anything wrong. If he, I don't know what else he was. And I asked him, I did say, what would you have done if you had been in my situation? He said nothing. Then he said, not this. He didn't say anything because he didn't have an answer. He just didn't have one. And then he fumbled a little, not this. I wouldn't have done what you did. I said, what I did wasn't even that big a deal. I essentially rudely asked them to get off the course while I'm on the fairway, while I'm playing the hole. I shouldn't even have had to do that. I should not even have had to do that. They should have known better than to fucking do what they were doing. They're course members. They got to know what golf etiquette is. There's no way I should have had to do that. Okay? But then to turn around and tell me if I got to tell them to fuck off one more time, they're going to kick my ass, or this one kid's going to kick my ass. That they need to know is a crime. Whether it's on your members only course or not, that's a crime. And so this all tells me that this is the kind of shit that happens often enough. It's like, he said, she said, for them against you, for them witnesses versus you. Nobody was arguing what happened, the facts. Nobody said anything about what was going on in this situation. Everyone on both sides agreed. The whole point is he's trying to make it about me telling the guys to get the fuck off the fairway, and I'm making a very clear point that the guy then replied he was going to kick my ass at that point. Okay? But rather than deal with that, he only wanted to deal with me telling them to get the fuck off the fairway. And that's fine. I can understand that. I'm not going to debate that. Yes, I'm not at all debating that. But I will say that I've been in the same situation hundreds of times and never had it blow up like this. Hundreds of times. The one thing I can tell you that I know from long experience about playing members courses is that almost everybody I know who's a member, or everybody I've played with who's a member of a course, is a douchebag. I played at Westfields 2 or 3 weeks before that with a member. That guy was a fairly like a 7 on a scale of 10 of douchebags. These guys were easily 9s on a scale of 10 of douchebags. I honestly believe that they came out of the clubhouse back up the fairway at 18 just to fuck with me because I was out there playing by myself and I'm black. I think that's pretty much what happened. Okay, they weren't out there looking for a wallet. They were just out there fucking them off, just being a bunch of dicks. Well, they got what they were looking for, I guess. If they were looking for a scene involving a black man creating a scene at a course, if they want to say that, that's all fine. I was thinking about what I was going to say in a video while I was standing out there next to my car, put my clubs in. I was thinking about it while I was standing out there on the side of 15, trying to decide whether or not I'm going to call the police. Didn't want to make a drama queen us. It's just not going to look good. I have done this the second time. Had no intention of recording an hour and 10-minute video about it the first time. I did intend to record a half an hour video about it this time, but I did. It just kind of ends up being a lot of drama. Okay, you don't pick fights on a golf course. Anybody with any sense knows that. Okay, you don't know whether you're going to get your ass kicked or kick somebody else's ass, and either way, you're going to fucking regret what happened. Okay, this guy just happened to pick me on the wrong fucking day. It was the third day after I had quit smoking, and I was like, fuck this. You want to kick my ass, you come kick my ass. And I walked right fucking up to him. I would probably never have done that before I was trying to quit smoking. But you call out the shit comes. And these guys all turned into fucking mice the moment I walked up to them. They all, and I'm an old fucking guy, okay? To me, it just is pathetic that 4 fucking dudes would start shit with one guy playing by himself on a golf course, start shit, and then run like fucking mice when he calls out, say, fine, come back it up. Come on up and fuck me. Come on up and kick my ass. Come on up. Come on and do it. Kick my ass, right? I get fucking within 20 feet of them. They're like, peeling out left and right. Just fucking pathetic. Then they're all sitting there at the fucking table in the pro shop, in the clubhouse, all with like all these people around, like 5-10 people around, bar, under a camera, all sitting there nice and calm and cool and collected. Like, hey, fuck you. No, we didn't do anything wrong. It was you. If you hadn't said fuck you, we wouldn't have started fucking trying to threaten you and saying we're going to kick your ass. If you hadn't been rude to us, we wouldn't have been almost violent to you. And this is the whole thing. How many times do you hear this fucking psychotic bullshit where you instigated it, or if you hadn't said the wrong thing, we wouldn't have threatened you, or it's our word against yours, or, and I'm like, dude, nobody here is arguing with what you guys said, okay? Nobody's arguing with what you guys did. It's the fact that you did it that's the fucking problem. That's the whole issue. But what really comes down to, always comes down to this, is white people blaming black people for the fucking shit they start. That's the whole fucking thing. And this is why I didn't want to go to Pennsylvania that fucking weekend. That's why. So I didn't want to deal with that shit. But I forgot I was going to fucking Richmond instead.